Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Alexis. I'm a blind author, content creator, and freelancer. And today, I am so excited. I am going to be reviewing When She's Shy by Ruby Dixon. Now, this is the first book I read by this author. But as of the filming of this video, as I mentioned later on in my final thoughts kind of thing, it is definitely not the last one I have read, and not the last one I will read. So I am very excited to talk to you about this book, and I know you can see the title, and I'm definitely wondering what your impressions on this title are, because it was a breath of fresh air when I read this romance. I think 2 years ago, it was definitely a breath of fresh air, and I was just so happy to read it. Like it was everything. So I am hoping that you guys enjoy this review. Normally I do stuff where I promote my stuff in the beginning, but I think I'm going to leave it till the end from now on. I do it in the beginning, but I just kind of want to give you a taste instead in the intro of what you can find. What I will say is that I had a great time reading it, and I remember having, and by the way that I sound, because I recorded this about 2 years ago, maybe, I had a great time recording it as well. I hope that you can feel that, but I also hope that it makes people want to read this book, because I think this book is awesome. I talk a little bit about why at the end. I also talk a little bit about the romance genre and my thoughts on it. But also, if you stay till the end, you will also get updates on my sleep test that I took yesterday as of editing this, because I mentioned having to go for a sleep test on last week's video. Was it last week? Wow, I keep saying I said last week, but no. It was 2 weeks earlier, according to the timing. Shoot. Okay, it was 2 weeks earlier. I messed up at the end. Now I can see it. It was 2 weeks earlier because right now long reviews are every 2 weeks because I'm having like a short every in between at the moment, because I have some shorts. Anyway, essentially, I have mentioned I talked about it in the last long form review, and you will get an update on my thoughts on how I felt, and yeah. So if you stay till the end, that's what you will have. So enough talking from me. I'm going to let you go to your regularly scheduled program. I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you on the other side. So I have heard of Ruby Dixon before. I've never read any of their work. This was like my first experience with them, and I've never read them, but I've heard of Ice Planet Barbarians, and unfortunately, Ruby Dixon doesn't have any books on Bookshare for me to explore. So this is my first foray, if you will, into Ruby Dixon's work, and I got to listen to this because it was played on a podcast I watch called Read Me Romance, which is hosted by the author duo Alexa Riley, and they basically have professionally narrated audiobooks, specifically romance, because again in the title, every week, and they are very short novellas / short stories, basically. And that is how I got to this book. That's also how I got to another book I reviewed for this channel as well. But this is kind of where that is. So that's how I got into this. But let's talk about this. This is part of the Rizdaverse. Is it Rizda? Hold on, let me see. Let me take a look at the... I'm looking at Goodreads right now. I'm sorry. Yes, Rizdaverse, and this is 11.5. So as you can see, there are definitely other series. There are other parts to this that I just haven't read. So let's just go with the synopsis and let's talk about this short story, because I really liked it. There are just things I wanted to know about it, but here we are. I am a bashful, dorky human woman, your average refugee on Rizda 3. Haina, Haina is tall, blue, and magnificent. She is effortlessly confident, and her laugh is contagious. I might hide behind the candle section at the store in Rizda's port just to get a weekly glimpse at her when she makes her vendor runs. I might be in love with her from afar. Someday I'll get the courage to talk to her. Someday. But fate steps in, and someday turns out to be a lot sooner than I expected. And then it says here, this is a WLW short story. I don't know what that means. Short story that was previously published in the Ride in the Pride Not Prejudice anthology. I may look up the and see if I can find the anthology. But this was a great romance. Okay, I had a great time. I did not give it 5 stars, and I will explain why. But let's just talk about it in general. I did want some more of this. Basically, the story is it's a short story, so I guess I can kind of expect this. But there were things that I kind of just wanted more of, and it just didn't give me that, and it makes sense. Okay, so the writing is really good. I actually kind of expected it to be written in the point of view of both of them, but for now though, the writing is good. Um it's good prose. It's accessible, it's really really easy to read, and it kind of works. It's good. So it works for that, and it goes by really really quickly. Again, it's a short story, so I got through it in like a day, so it's perfect for like a really really fast read. So I got to the story, and I was kind of like, okay, interesting, female romance, because I love female romances a lot. I am a I would read all the sapphic romances if I could find them. So so that was great. The prose is fine. The story is told in in the point of view of the human girl, who I am so sorry I cannot remember her name. But basically it is told in her point of view, and a it's a it's a really good it's really good. We kind of get her characterized, and we get kind of what she thinks of everything, and we get to see how it all basically goes on, right? And I would have liked more of Haina's point of view, because we don't get it. We get her characterized more toward with like we get her character to be okay, but I kind of thought it was going to be written with Haina's point of view as well, because it has I believe it like mentions the character's name when you go to chapter 1, but then it doesn't change in point of view. So I originally thought it was going to be both their point of views, but we don't get that, and I would have liked for both their point of views to be a thing. The story does I'm gonna give I guess a they really I don't think this content warning is necessary, since we don't fully go into it, but I'm gonna give it anyway, because it's not a huge thing in the story, but it is mentioned that there was that basically Rizda 3 is a refugee planet for women who have been enslaved, and it is that our main character was enslaved before, and there was mention that she was assaulted. So keep that in mind when reading. I wasn't too sure whether to actually give this content warning, since it is briefly mentioned, but because there is a sex scene where that becomes a thing, and it was talked up, and it was kind of mentioned a bit a second time, I thought I would mention that. But keep that in mind, because the story does have those themes, even though it doesn't really mention it. It has that just kind of there. So that is something there. The themes of the story mainly are just the love story between them, and then there's really very few themes, but the theme of finding of belonging and finding a place and getting and really healing just even though she has already healed, but it seems to like talk just touch on the healing aspect of our main character since she went through all that stuff. So it does touch on it a little, not a lot. But that's part of it. The pacing though is really really quickly. Like this romance felt so fast. It was really fast, especially on Haina's end. Like basically it kind of starts. It feels like insta love, though. Yeah, you know what? It is definitely insta love, and insta love doesn't fully work for me. But their chemistry was amazing, so it would have worked for me if this was a longer book. And what happens is that I'm gonna go into some spoilers here, by the way. So here we are. 3, 2, 1, go. Basically, what ends up happening is that our main character watches Haina through, like, she hides in this shop and she watches her because she's shy, and stuff like that, and things go from there. And then one day, before Haina arrives, she crashes into this, or not she crashes, but this guy crashes her, and she's not very confrontational, and she's a little like freaked out about it, and eventually someone comes in from like the port authorities and is like hey, we can see if you crash, because she's like, because the girl's like, you crashed me, like I didn't crash into you, and she's like, we can see, like the guy in the authorities like, we can see that, we can see who did it, and like get rid of your car, whatever. And then she goes to the shop, she watches her, and then she leaves because she kind of just shows up. She buys candles in order to watch this girl, which in general, like, this crush is really cute. It's like your first time crush. It's adorable. It's everything. But then she runs into this person again. And, well, not this person, but someone else who's giving her trouble. And then Haina comes to save the day, and they start talking. And things kind of go from there. And I'm pretty sure it is in that very first scene that the main character basically says to her, I love you. And and then they kind of like, and then they kind of just like, because they have lunch and everything, and the girl is kind of like, Haina's kind of pretending to that they're a thing, though she's not like pushing anything. She's like pretending, like she's kissing her cheek, she has her arm around our main character and everything, and it's cute. It is cute. I will not deny the cuteness and the cheesiness and all that stuff. It is very cute. And then the main character tells Haina, hey, I love you, and she's like, hey, and then she kind of apologizes because it's like it happened too quickly. She's like, this would only be an issue if what you said wasn't true. And then there's like a time skip, and they kind of meet every Thursday, and when they meet, they're going to have sex. And you guys, it was a cute scene. It was really good. It was also, I was swooning. It was also amazing because, guys, there is consent on the page. There is consent on the page. I love it. I am swooning. There is consent on the page. She's like, hey, is this okay? Is this okay? Yeah, okay. Are you sure? She asks questions. There is consent on the page. Listen, I don't know who needs to hear this, but consent is hot, okay? Consent is hot, and it can be a turn on. I just want to say, consent is hot. There is consent on the page. It's bare minimum shit, but I am swooning, and I'm like, yes, consent. Yes, consent. Yes to consent. I was swooning by this. I was like, oh my god, there's consent on the page. There's even the question. I think it actually happened before too, where like the main character, not just on this sex scene, but I'm pretty sure before this sex scene, Haina actually asked the main character, hey, can I kiss you? And I was like, yes, we love this. We love consent. We appreciate consent. Now, listen, you can get away with no consent on a dark romance, but on a sweet romance, consent is hot. I don't know who needs to hear that, but consent is hot. Okay? It's everything. I was swooning. I was swooning. It's great. It's amazing. I was here for I was so in. So when the sex scene came, because I was kind of already primed for it when Heine asked, "Hey, can I kiss you?" I was primed for it. So when the consent aspect came in to their sex scene, it was just like, yes. 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 Please, romance authors, give me more consent on the page. Is so good. Is good. Um, so we have that, and then we have our black moment, which happens to be that Heine is late and she doesn't know what happened, and there is a theme touched on about insecurity and how she feels like maybe she might be being used by Heine because Heine is perfect in her eyes, and she's like, and Heine's like, no, of course not. You are amazing. Like, you listen to the stuff that like, to all my random stuff, even though it's not important. You give me a chance to be myself. And it is really cute because they both complement each other in a beautiful way. Because our main character is really, really shy and really insecure, and Heine is like the confident one. But Heine also has her own like things where she's like, you listen to everything I have to say. You are there for me. I can communicate anything with you. And you are wonderful. And our main character's like, you're wonderful, you're really confident. Um and your laugh is contagious and you make everything amazing. And they complement each other so well. It's have I said this again? But it's just so cute. I absolutely recommend that you read this if you can. It's adorable. It's everything. It is everything. But yeah, like I'm at. But the black moment happens, and in the black moment, she's late, and the main character's insecurities kind of come up. There's also an issue with the guy who basically drove his like vehicle into hers or whatever, and she kind of grows a spine as well, and when he's bothering her, and she hits him with like a candle thing, and she tells the shop owner, no, I'm not paying for that because humans who shop at your store should feel safe. And she also like she also says to the guy, like, if you don't leave me alone, I'm gonna make a complaint about this. Like, I will. And the guy, you know what's funny? Like, I love the guy that just shows up from the authorities, like, hey, so like, we all heard you. You want to make that complaint? And it was great. And by the end, she's just tired. She's like really tired. Like, she also had wounded herself and everything, but she's like, I'm tired now. I just want to go lick my wounds on my own. And then Heine just comes in. Oh, that'd be fun. But like, she's like, and then she confronts her about the main character kind of confronts Heine about being late and her insecurities. She's like, no, I'm sorry. I just wanted to because originally it was revealed that Heine may not be able to come as often or spend the night because there were some issues with her roots, and it is revealed that the company that brought stuff to the store was basically like, it's gone. Like, there's no, it was closed or whatever. And she's like, I won't be able to see her again or whatever. And all this stuff comes up, and she's like, yeah, I just wanted to stop though at with one of my friends who has a human mate. Yes, because mate is a thing in this stuff, and I'm here for it. I love mates. I don't care. Mates are amazing. Mates are fun. And she's like, and I heard that this is really important. And what she basically got was like an engagement ring or whatever. And they agree to be together, and they basically, like, then there's like a 2-year time skip, and by this time Heine didn't really have a job, so they kind of opened a business, and she's like running it, and they have like this thing, and it's really cute. It's a cute ending, and I love it. Now, the title says I wanted more, and it's true. I wanted a couple of things. First, I wanted it to be longer, because when for example, when our main character basically yells at the shop owner and kind of like grows a spine and starts and like just be like, she's like, no, I'm not doing this. It should have been, I feel like it would have worked better if the story was longer, because it would have had more of an impact, and we would have seen her gain her confidence, which we did not really see. We didn't see her gain any confidence. We just kind of saw her do that, and it was like, oh, cool. We saw that. And two, I would have liked to see more of the romance between Haina and our main character, because it kind of just like, she just fell for this character, and then Haina kind of just fell for her, and then they started dating and they had this happily ever after. So I would have liked to see more of that. So those are the things I wanted. So I would have loved for this to be, rather than a short story, I would have loved for that to be more like of either a longer novella, like at least 120 pages, or a novel where we could have explored more of their romance and more of just them getting together, and it would have been great. So that's what I would have liked. I really wanted more. But other than that, it was good. This is the kind of story. This is what romance should make you feel. Like, romance is a genre that's just, for me, it's hard for me to find romances I love and adore. But this one was good. Like, this one was everything. I adore this romance. I was swooning. Guys, I barely find romances with that I swoon in, and not all of them are contemporary. Most of the romances that I'm like, I'm swooning, are fantasy or now sci-fi with an alien and human, and it was cute, and I'm here for it. So yes, I was swooning. And that is what romance should make you feel. It should make you feel good, and it should make you swoon. And this romance is just great for that. So 4 stars for me. It was a great book. I also recommend the podcast Read Me Romance. That way you can read. That way you can listen to these short stories once a week. Anyway, cut to future me. Let me know your thoughts. Have you read When She's Shy? What do you think? Do you plan to read it? I still recommend it, even though I spoiled it for you. I recommend that you read it. Let me know your thoughts, though. And here is future me. All right, hello. Thank you so much for watching. I am here for final thoughts, though, so please do not leave. I'm here for final thoughts and updates for you. So I guess I will say this. Again, I really enjoyed it. And since I've read this book, I have read 2 other Ruby Dixon books. I will have to reread at least one of them to review it. I know it is part of a series. That much I remember. I don't know if the second book on that series is out, however. But I have since read 2 other Ruby Dixon books, and thankfully they're in my library, and I'm looking forward to maybe reading more, possibly reviewing more books from this author in the future. I think it will be a great time to do so, because honestly, again, her romances generally make me swoon at the moment, or their romances do so. So I am enjoying going through some of the books. Now I want to talk a little bit more about the romance genre. Like I said in the video, romance should make you feel great. It should make you swoon. It should also make you feel, in a weird way, I think, romance can also make you feel special and beautiful in ways that you may not always feel in real life. That has been at least been my experience in some ways. I mean, generally speaking, I'm pretty confident. I feel pretty much all the time. But it's a different type of, I think, it's a different type of feeling beautiful with romance, because romance is, even in contemporary settings, a fantasy. It is the fantasy that you or that character is living a very specific life, and they get a very specific love interest who complements them or is just perfect for them, no matter what that is. There is appeal in these types of power fantasies, and we like them for a reason. And that, I think, should always be celebrated. The other thing with romance, which I think I love, it's that it is supposed to feel, it's a genre that has, like every genre, but I think romance especially has this, but it's a genre that makes space, or can make space, for everybody. And one of the things I like is that romance is, I think, in my opinion, at the very moment, the perfect genre for something like disability representation, but and specifically representing it in a way where it's not just all struggle. It's not just all like, oh, this person inspires me to do this. It's not inspiration porn type of presentation. It's a presentation is representation in a way that they are, they're finding love, they're finding community, because romance is also presents really good friendships. So I think at the very moment, romance is one of the best genres, if not the best genre, for representation of for, at least for me, for blindness and everything. So usually when I write any romance, I'm still working on mine in some ways, shapes, or forms. I'm having a complicated time with the romance genre writing, because I was working on one and I deleted most of it, and I kept the beginning, but I am rewriting the rest. But I have I usually have a blind lead, and it's important that I write. I feel it's important for me to write blind main characters and represent them in the different genres that I do. But I think romance is the one that appeals to me as a writer, especially to represent other aspects of disability, whether they are struggling or joy, but mostly joy, because romance is a genre that focuses more on hope. Love is what defeats whatever the enemy is at the end. Love is what defeats the problem, and that to me is wonderful, which is why I read it. Now, it is difficult for me to find romance, specifically in contemporary romance, that makes me swoon. I found a couple of authors that I know do that. But it's very, very difficult, and which is part of the reason I enjoy the conventions of romance in some ways. Now, I do have my issues with them, but that will be I will talk about that in another video. I have a video planned for to talk about romance and the discourse of happily ever after / happy for now. And I have an article that I found an article that I want to read. I'm going to see if I can find it again, but I do have an article that I would like to read and react to with you as we read, because I think it makes it more interesting. Because romance is a genre that I think needs to be appreciated as much as possible, because we deserve hope, and especially in our current world, in our current administration. If you live in the U.S., books like Ruby Dixon's When She's Shy are extremely important to read, in my opinion. Books that represent things that you like, or minorities, or anything in that avenue, I think are very important to read. I usually find them, believe it or not, kind of randomly sometimes. I have a couple of books I know I want to read, and when I find them, I usually read them. But sapphic romances are generally my favorites to read. But yeah, I think it's important that also for our mental health, that if we're readers, to read things we like, read things that bring us joy, and read things that give us hope by the end, because our current climate here in the U.S. is messy, and there are things that we cannot be sure of. But if there's one thing we can be sure of, is that we can take care of ourselves as best as we can, because we cannot take care of other people if we cannot take care of ourselves. I truly believe that, and I think that reading the things that bring us joy, like romance, is one way to do that. It's a great self-care method. One of the things I used to do more as a teenager was read before bed for 15 minutes or so, and that was one of the best things I did, and I am hoping to return to that again. It doesn't always happen, but I will try, because it does. It makes me feel better at the end of a long day. So that's my advice, and those are my final thoughts. So some updates though. Last week I mentioned the sleep test. Well, I have taken my sleep test. I have no results as to what is going to happen next, but I did take my my sleep test. I will say it was not bad. It was easy. I got connected to a bunch of wires and everything. What my doctor wants to know is if I have any trouble breathing when I sleep. The only thing is that it like most nights here and there, it did take me longer to go to sleep like it usually does every night. Like it took me about 2 hours to try to get actual sleep. But even then, I was still awake most of the night. Like I was awake more than I was asleep, or at least in a deep sleep, which I think is a REM sleep where it rests. I was awake most of the night. I actually came home by like 6:30 this morning, and I was gonna stay awake because I had a meeting with the NFB, which, by the way, in a video in couple of weeks, you're going to hear me complain about them, and I will talk about that probably in that video. You're going to hear me complain about it because I was reading a memoir and I needed to complain about some stuff I did not like, based on what I've known based on that time, but also how I feel about it generally. But the point is, I had an NFB meeting, which I wanted to make sure I attended because I do like the meetings. I think they're really, no matter how, if you agree with everything they do or at least disagree with some of the things they do, I think it's still important to be a part of a community. So I am part of NFB, but I'm also part of ACB, and I enjoy it. ACB offers a lot of socializing with their community events, which, by the way, if you are blind and watching, I would absolutely recommend. You don't have to be a member to attend, but they run community events 7 days a week. I think they run over 400 meetings throughout the 7 days, and they essentially they run these like different social events. Some events are themed, other events are like, crafting. They have different things. So I would absolutely suggest that if you were looking for some of that connection, or some of like, you want to do other stuff and you want to do it with other people, definitely it would be great to do. But yeah, so I'm a part of them, and I enjoy it. But I wanted to attend this meeting, and I'm like, I don't want to go to sleep. Maybe I'll stay awake. But then I realized I opened my iPad to do something to maybe stay awake, and then I didn't remember what I wanted to do. So I'm like, yeah, I think it's best for me to go to sleep. So I did go back to sleep. But I make sure to put alarms so that I can wake up in time, and I was able to attend and everything on Zoom. But yeah, it was fine. The sleep test was okay being done. I was connected to a bunch of wires. It felt uncomfortable in some areas because moving meant I needed to make sure that I did not disconnect part of the wire. Now, there was a person keeping an eye on me that if anything happened, that they would come and maybe connect the wire or whatever. But I was awake most of the time, so I did not sleep much. I am currently okay, probably because I took those 3 hours to sleep, which is why I was probably able to edit right now. But I'll keep you updated. I really hope that I get results before I go on vacation. At the very moment, when you're watching this, I will be on vacation, but I really hope I get an idea of what we're doing before I leave. So the plan now is to call on Monday. I'm going to call on Monday. Monday. You know what? I'll take the time on the break between classes to call, but I'll call on Monday, and I want to see if I can make an appointment for May 1st. And for my sleep specialist, because they said that the results should be there by the end of next week. So I want to see if I can make an appointment for the results on May 1st, 2 days before I leave, and see what I can do. I kind of want to have an idea of what we need to do, and how we're going to solve this issue, because being unable to sleep all night is generally affecting me. And it's especially when sometimes I will have a full night's sleep and then I can't sleep. Not I can't sleep, but I may have 8 hours of sleep, but I feel exhausted the next day. That's not good, and it will affect me personally. I will not be healthy at some point. And sleep is important, you guys. You can't catch up with sleep. There's no such thing as catching up with sleep. You can't get the hours that you didn't sleep back. So I would really like to get into a better pattern, and with better sleep, I can also hopefully get get better results with the, my publishing career, I would like to be able to do more projects, to be able to make sure I'm writing more, I'm editing, that I have the energy to even do the edits of my books, and make sure I'm doing it in a way. Right now, I have a system that is working, but I would like to be able to say that I don't always, I'm probably going to use the system for a while, but I would like to be able to, edit for a very specified amount of time and on weekdays, and make sure that the book gets out there when I want them to get out. You know what I mean? But right now, I am definitely slowing down. And I'm looking at writing and publishing kind of more like a part-time thing, because one, I'm in school, and two, I need another job anyway. And so I'm looking to hopefully, get better so that I can publish more, and I can make sure that I am able to get what I need done, So yeah, hopefully I'll get that done. And that's enough updates for this video. You probably won't get, I may give you some writing updates next video, because I have not been giving you any updates for that. But yeah, that's my life right now. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Let me know your thoughts on When She's Shy. Will you read it? Have you read it? What is your favorite Ruby Dixon book? I might be able to find it in the library. What is your favorite Ruby Dixon book? I would like to read it. And yeah, if you enjoyed the content today, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications so that you're aware when I upload a video. I am really trying to keep it weekly, but I also sometimes fall off the wagon when I'm not feeling well and when things are a bit rougher. But I am trying to schedule as much as I can ahead of time so that I can give myself that freedom. So let me know what you think. Also, if you want to see my writing, you can go to my website and subscribe to my blog. I am hoping to do more creative pieces. So at the moment, I'm posting more occasionally than anything else. So make sure you see me there. Also, you can also support me financially by getting my books. Right now I have 2 books out. I am a multi-genre author. So I have a poetry collection out, and I have a literary fantasy out. Most of what I write is literary fantasy, but but right now I have those 2 out. So whichever interests you, there's a link in the description for the ebook. But it is also available in audiobook format. So you should be able to find it in most of your stores that have audiobook formats as well. At the moment, the exception is that you won't be able to find it in Audible because I have not posted it there. I've had some issues trying to get it through. And I have not tried in a couple of months. I will try again. I will. But anyway, that is my spiel for that. And you can also support me on Ko-fi with a one-time donation. You can also buy my books from there, because I do sell the ebooks there as well. You can also commission my services. I offer beta reading services, and you can find me on Fiverr. I will link everywhere you can find me, but you can also find me on Ko-fi, or you can email me. I'm more than happy to do either one of those 3. So feel free to commission me for that if you are interested. And with that out of the way, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Next week will be another short, another YouTube short rather than a long video. So the next long form review will be in 2 weeks. But hopefully you will also see the short if it interests you. But in the meantime, thank you for being here. I've enjoyed our time together. The next week will be a review on Invisible Women, which was a nonfiction book I read some time ago. And then on May 30th, I will be reviewing Divine Rivals. That will be the next long review, Divine Rivals. So I will see you soon. And until next time, consume stories. Bye.